we're not going to be interacting with the birds after the opals as per normal. Yeah, no, hello, Max. Come here. Doing a scratch for you? There you go. Good bird. For those of you who don't know, there's literally no one here anyway, but if you didn't know, Max is a bit of a rescue, so he's not necessarily up with the whole interacting with humans thing, so he's doing very well just to allow me to scratch him. He doesn't let anyone else scratch him. I think, oh, no, he occasionally lets other people scratch him. Oh, sorry, mate. So it's hard to concentrate on what I'm doing and what Max is doing and talking and all of the things, even if there is nobody in the stream at the moment, but that's okay. As a general rule, it seems to change, especially if I zoom in on the bird. But yeah. Remember to guard your privacy. Thank you. Look at our community guidelines. I should read our community guidelines, see what I've told you about my community guidelines. And anyway, we've got Max here. And what I'm doing at the moment is I'm clearing some pin feathers. Pin feathers are young feathers that have not grown out yet. And they kind of form like a bamboo shoot, if you've ever seen one of those. And these bamboo shoots kind of come out. And you've got to take the top bit off and the feather can burst out as a wonderful feather. Let's see if I've got it. I can even show you one. No, that's not exactly a good one. I need to get one of the pointy ones. Have you got a pointy one sitting around here, Maxi Bubba? Maybe here. Let's get in there and see. I'm going to zoom in a bit. So not that much, but there. It's all right. Whoa. No cameras. It's all right. There's a few pins just up in there if I can zoom in on them. There we go. This is an opal cutting channel. I'm just dealing with the birds first. So let's have a look at this. Can't see the pins. Resolution on my camera's not good enough. New user resolution. Camera resolution, I reckon. Zoom back out. That's Max. Say hello to Max, everybody. Now this one is Pony. Loki. Loki seems to be busy eating at the moment. So she's doing all right. She's had a pretty good day. She's yelled at us a lot. Yeah? Yeah. 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 Final one, of course, is my good friend Pony here. Usually I finish the stream with a bit of a pony splat and tell everyone to like and subscribe and all that. But obviously I'm not finishing with Pony tonight because I'm going to turn off the lights and then we're going to go out and cut the opals. The good thing about it is, if you remember the last stream that I did when my machinery broke down, well, the new machinery is whisper quiet. It's a little bit less powerful, but it's whisper quiet. So it's very good from that perspective. Yoink. There we go, now lights out. I'll show you one thing. Hopefully, I'm not telling you the secret ingredients, but I think I've cracked getting silver from circuit boards. That's silver nitrate reacted with salt, with silver and chlorine to make silver chloride, which is precipitated out in water. And hopefully some zinc will be fixing that one out. But anyway, turning the lights off. Good night, birdies. Now oh, hello there. That looks like Arabic script. So salam. Hopefully I got that right. So, Ariane, how you doing, my friend? There we go. So, I should actually put things in other languages on my cards here, because that'd be fun. We're going to move that away though, because what we're going to do, we are going to probably find something with yoik, some colour. This guy, to be precise. This stone being what they call an opal. Should be nice and pretty. So I'm going to give it a bit of a cut and we'll see what happens. If it's not nice and pretty, I'll get this one and we'll see if that one's pretty. And we've got like hundreds here, so it's no problem. We will find something that's pretty somewhere. Moving these off, and I might even put this one on. Not that one, not that one, not that one. Okay, zooming back, moving everything down, making sure that everything's perfect. Water goes on. I've got enough water for tonight, I think. I'm pretty much a third from critical to max, which is pretty good. And whisper quiet, opal cutter comes on. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the skin off and have a look and see if this is anywhere near as pretty as I think it's going to be. If not, we can make a decision on whether to keep cutting it or find something else. Zooming out just a teeny little bit so you can see a bit more of what's going on. If you ask, I will give you a cook's tour of my opal cutting equipment. People seem to like that. Because it's not just this thing here, there's a whole heap of other things involved. Especially since the breakdown, a lot of my opal equipment is exposed to the elements. What have we got here? Yeah, we got some colour. Woohoo! No, need to turn the light on. Lights on. There's a light, there's a light, there's a light, 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 there's a light, there's a light, light, let's find it. Yeah, bing, light on. So you can see it. Where's that colour? I'll try and find it now. Where did I see it? There, radio. Just to the left of my finger here. Just next to my finger, that's where the colour should be. If you spotted it all. You can just see it, just there. Right, let's give this one a shot and see if we can get some more colour happening. The skin's taking a bit of effort to get off. I'm going to see if I can skip the motor up just a little bit. Where is it? There we go. Now this is one of those opals that does really well under faceting, so people like to carve them, but I'm hoping we can do better than just that. I'm hoping we can get a really nice stone out of this. May have to cut this off at the bottom, but we'll see. Oh, more colour just here, and zoom right out and see if we can get there. You can see just in there, you can see that little bit of colour there. I'll try and zoom that, try and get that colour happening. Whoop. Bit of a splodge has just happened. Let me de-splodge. There we go. And back to your scheduled viewing. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of place because don't worry, this thing doesn't hurt you. I'm a bit out of place because my equipment's a little bit disorganized still since the breakdown. But we are getting there, and I think this equipment is better and also safer, so quite happy, to be honest. Well, I can see some colours happening too, which is good. Oh yes, excellent, excellent. I'm just going to roll this here, see if we can encourage some extra colour to come out here. Let's encourage it here too. Come on, you just need some encouragement, don't you, little opal? Looks like there's some really nice colour here. Going to check to see what's happening here. There's a little, you can see a little bit of the colour there. I'm going to just round it off. I don't know what to do with this side because it's a bit more ununiform. It's easier to cut the other side, but we will see what this colour's like. I'm happy to cut what the colour is. So if there's better colour on this side, I'll work with the constraints of this side. No biggie. Very often when people are saying, how do you cut the opal? You go, well, you cut it the way the opal wants. It's a good example of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully snip this bit off. This tells me that this is a part of a mussel shell. And I should have picked up on that a little bit earlier. I would have changed my cutting strategy. I would have maybe done it in such a way which preserved it, but you could barely see it was a fossil, so maybe there was no point. I'm deliberately holding it softly so that the opal will jump out of my hands rather than break. So it's a bit frustrating when you're getting these deep cuts because they go right deep in, they catch, they jump. But it's all for the best, all for the greater good, as they say. What I'm just doing is I'm smoothing off this bit. I think that the entire opal contains the light characteristics which gives us that beautiful purple hue. So I'm not particularly concerned that cutting too deep is going to wreck the colour. What you've got to do is you've got to cut smarter to get the colour to come out in these instances. You've got to know what angles the colour's coming from. Not easy to know. Very easy to wreck an opal like this. Sometimes people don't even see the colour at all because they never explore this avenue. So many people just toss an opal like this away saying, nah, it's not got no colour, and how wrong they are. But we'll see how wrong they are in a second because, well, we might just see some nice colours coming out of this opal. Okay, the skin's nearly all off. Now what I'm doing is I'm thinking about what the final shape of this opal would want to be. Once we've cleaned all the suspected sites off it, like the dirty spots, gotten rid of as many inclusions as possible, then we worry about what shape actually looks good. And here's a hint with this particular opal. Sharp edges actually work well with it as far as the look of the stone is concerned. But sharp edges actually make it easier to break the stone. So I'm starting to ask myself the question of what I want to do. Just to give you an idea, I will create a sharp edge and show you what I'm talking about. I may as well use this bit here because I need to carve it back anyway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to facet out as a sharp edge, and you'll see the nice lines that develop. So basically I've cut a nice line there. So if you have a look at it, you'll see that, trying to give you a good view of that. Zoom out so you can see it properly. You need it like behind so you can spot it properly. Can't see it. Let's see if we can do it over here. Can't spot it, sorry. We'll have to just keep going. But one thing I can see is that colour that you're seeing there, that's absolutely 100% real. It's not the best colour yet, but I reckon it's going to get there. Can't help but notice I've already gotten a like, which is kind of good. Thank you very much, whoever did that. Look, my Bakta. Hello, how are you doing? My name is Phil, and I'm cutting an opal. Would I be right in saying salam? Got a bit of stage fright, did you? I'm sorry. Use a genie. Wish I had a genie. I give you 3 wishes. I presume a genie is some kind of cab master, is that right? Oh, it's Rainer. How you doing, mate? It's good to see you. I shouldn't be so surprised. Yeah. Of course you are. Ah, yeah. Well, I've made my own wheels. If you have a look over here, that's one which has got 1,000 grit and 250 grit in the centre. That one's a little bit, like, I think it's 80 grit. And over there is a Syrian pad. So, yeah, I've got something similar. Feeding seahorses. I didn't realise you actually had seahorses. I suppose, why would you have a name like Crazy for Seahorses if you didn't? But it also makes sense because Adele's kind of got a bit of an aquarium vibe going, doesn't she? Ah. That's pretty cool. I can remember when I was over in Tasmania, like that's the seahorse capital of Australia because they seem to like the colder water. Them, pipefish, weedy sea dragons, all that kind of stuff. They're busily trying to breed sea dragons. This was over 2 decades ago, so I don't know if they've succeeded now. "17 tanks filled with seahorses or just pregnant men?" My problem's the exact opposite, because I have to make it so that my guppies don't breed. So I feed them once every 2 days, and I'd say so, especially if they can't breed. I don't know if they can. If they can, like, the price will drop within 3 or 4 years. So I expect they can't be bred yet. Or either that, or the setup's really difficult. A tooth? No, it's a shell. It's actually a mussel shell. I figured that out a little bit too late, because I would have cut it slightly differently. Let me show you. These are fossils over here. See if I can find a nice one for you. This will give you an idea of what a fossil looks like. And generally, you can see how it's distinctly uncut. That's because I don't like to cut fossils. These are opals, and a lot of the time you find shell fossils within them. Let's see if I can find a better one for you. This one here, you can see the shell. This one you can see the shell ridges a little bit on them. Not cutting that one. And this here is a snail shell. This is the inside bit of a snail shell. It's a bit of a nuisance, because if you have a look at it, there's actually some colour on it. I'll zoom out a bit. In Brazil, you have fossils. You also have opal. Different opal, but you have opal. You get Brazilian fire opal. It's not very hydrophane. Here we go. Got that one. That's a mussel shell, and we've got the mussel cap here as well. So you can see that's obviously, and you get tons of them. You have to, it's very easy to accidentally cut a fossil. As I've just done. This is a mussel, I presume. When I looked at it, when I was cutting the bit off, I go, oh no, that's a mussel bum. I'll show you what I'd call a mussel bum, if I could find one. They're actually quite distinctive, so that's why I'm kicking myself. No, not that bit. Not that bit. Sort of like that, but there's there's actually another bit that's attached to the back of it. I just can't find one of those attached bits at the moment. Normally they just stare you in the face all the time. Sort of like this. This is the best I can do. You can see that double bit just there. Young seahorse costs 230. Is that euro? I think they're a bit cheaper here because you can go off into Sydney Harbour and just catch them in the ocean there. I mean, you really shouldn't. I'm pretty certain there are acts of parliament that say you shouldn't, but how do you police it? It's that song by I can't remember who actually originally sang it. I know Counting Crows did it. They paved paradise to put up a parking lot. You don't always seem to know that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. The thing that frustrates me is I have been to Austria and I know that they've got their recycling sorted out. I know they've got their regulations on, what to do with the environment sorted out. You might think it's a little bit silly what you've got, not good enough or something like that, but I guarantee you it's better than Australia.
Yeah, I think that's good. If you have to, like, that actually gives extra value to the seahorses. So do the people who you sell them to have to get paperwork as well? Or you just sell them on and it doesn't matter too much? It's a permit for breeding. Oh, this is getting good. I don't know what you're seeing. I'm just checking to see what... Oh, yeah, you can see a bit of the colour. Just on the pointy end there. There's also a bit of green poking through the back. So, and there's a bit of blue just over here. It's really nice and subtle. I quite like this. Let's turn it over and see what we get here. Okay, I'm flattening this bit out because the other side is doing so much better. Frock packaging. I don't know what frock packaging is. Do you mean paper or... Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I've cleared the major hurdle. Oh, I'll zoom in so you can see what's going on there because it's quite delicate. Just watch the edge as I carefully do this. You can see the edge just gets sheared away. It's really quite delicate. So I've got to really watch myself. I'm trying to curve the edge there. So this is the bit which I'm trying to make into the good bit. It looks like it's going to take no prisoners with me. I've got to be so cautious. Here we go. I'm just straightening the edge. For the time being, it's going to be freeform. I was thinking of cutting a cab, but I'm going, nah. I've done enough to it because I should have kept it as a fossil. So I'm not going to compound my shame. I will give the opal as big, that's all, folks. I will give the opal as big a chance as possible by just gently rounding the corners. That's permissible to me. I'm also going to flatten this edge more. This one, I don't know. I would suggest that it is, it'd be the equivalent of maybe between 60 and 80 grit, I reckon. Because this is just my rough cutting bit. It's not cutting as fast because, well, if you have a look down here, look, nah, just knocked some opal over. But if you have a look over here, if we have a moment's silence for this bad boy, it is now dead. So what I've got over here, just in this area here, is a Dremel which is running, and then I've got, of course, got a tube going up into the back there, which is running just a it's running the cutting bit off another tube, and it's just not quite as powerful. So I'm not cutting through it as much as I used to, but that's okay. I think that having the Dremel out of the tank where you can get all the electricity probably has its own benefits, i.e. not dying from electrocution. So slightly less power for not dying, yeah, I could take that. Besides, I've only got it set to like 2. Oh, okay, I get it. So just talking to our seahorse friend Rainer, I asked him a question about seahorses and he provided me with an answer and then I just ignored him. The other upshoot of this, which I didn't expect was a problem, is that I've just put a few planks over a garbage bin essentially, and that's holding the new Dremel in place. And I haven't put a permanent fixture in. I need to literally lift up this fixed tank, take out the drawer, which doesn't open properly anyway, and that's where my cerium oxide is stored, so it's a problem. Put the motor in under there, make sure that it's all watertight. And whilst I'm doing all of that, I may as well figure out if there's any things that would make the whole opal cutting experience for me better. I'm going to suggest diligent, is what you were suggesting. Hope so, because that sounds better than dialer gaff. Okay, so I'm just, it's called bringing it in or rounding the stone over. People who are cutting understand that there's this way of just curving the stone so that the light catches it properly. Really important, especially with these light, soft ones. I'm just doing a bit of precision for the corner. Not that it's needed, because when I go to the other sandpapers, they will happily deal with most of it. But it is easier to get the appropriate cutting done with the appropriate grit. I think having to use this lighter touch has not been that much of an impediment. As a matter of fact, I think it's an advantage. I'm not just pushing the stone into the blade. I think that if I tried to push the stone into the blade like I sometimes do with the other equipment, perhaps we would have had more bits flying off. So that's what I am left with. I'm going to have a look at the side. Oh, hang on. I saw a bit of concavity here. Try to make sure that end's nice and straight, and then I make a rod for my own back with it. That's another thing that a lot of opal cutters understand. Evening something up and realised you've evened it up too far. 10 hours later you have a tiny little microscopic stone. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's zoom out so you can see what we're dealing with. My goodness, this lighting is not good for me tonight. Anyway, you can see just a little bit of colour. You're going to have to just believe me that the colour's a lot better than that, even though at this point in time I can't see it either. But over here, ay caramba, don't worry, that doesn't hurt me. Over here I can see some greens and purples and stuff, so it is good. Alright, it's quite a big one. That'll be about 10 carats. At the moment it's not shiny enough, but if I manage to get the colours to pop out, then that will suddenly become extremely valuable. Good little piece of opal. What I'm doing now is I'm just hunting through my other opal supplies. And I might have complained about this before to you, but like when I go out in the daylight and hunt through, find beautiful stones in the daylight, that's got at least a colour band in it. They look wonderful, but then when you try and do the cutting at night, where is the colour gone? So that is my struggle. I know. I can hear the world's smallest violin playing just for me. I'm going to cut that one because that's a lightning rigger. And I think that we're going to have a lot of fun with that one. That is also a lightning rigger. So these two, I suspect that's a shell, but it's too far gone. So we're not going to worry. That's a shell for sure. Putting that in the shell pile. And I'm just picking out some of these tiny little ones. I'm just going to have a quick look. No, not good enough. Because the tiny little ones, when I put them out, that's because they're, when I'm looking at them, yeah, I'll show you this one. When I'm looking at the tiny little ones, that's because they've got some pretty epic colour showing through them. Oh, this one as well. I can quickly get this one done. Zooming in. Oh, that's a little bit too close. A little bit too close. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Perfect. Got our grinder user. I cut and grind. I'm not sure what that means. Don't know what that does in the app. I will set the record straight, not because I'm ashamed, but because, well, I don't know, someone might get disappointed. They think, oh, come join me for drinks or something. And then like, oh, you're not. So, yeah, I only know of grinder as a concept, I'm afraid. So let's just quickly show you this tiny little gem. Trust it to not show you anything. There we go, hang on. See, you can only see some of that little colour just on the bottom there. Oh well, trust me, it looks better than that. We'll cut this one now, because this one, let me see if I can spot that colour for you. It's got a few issues with it, so it's not a slam dunk, but at least there's that nice colour just sitting on the side there. I think our society's funny, isn't it? Because like we feel like we can say anything we like about people so long as we, my best friend is that minority. So you got to get yourself a pet minority. That's what I call it. So you can be racist or bigoted or whatever. Oh yes, I have a pet Calathumpian. That's why we should get rid of all of them. I really do not understand the logic, but it works with some people, I'm sure. Whee! Is that the piece? Don't know, hang on, let me just see if I can find the piece. If not, I'm cutting that bit. Is that the bit? Come on. I think this might be the bit. Let's see. Well, yes, you could. Well, if people misunderstand that one, at least they just think I'm a bit strange. Oh yes, I'm very satisfied with this tool. That means that you have a pet minority, don't you? Like, I know a rotary tool user. As a matter of fact, some of my best friends are rotary tool users. I see your agenda. Agenda rolls. Well, this is either not looking as good as I thought or it's the wrong stone. I think it's the wrong stone. So, what do we do in an emergency? We find another one. Yoik. I think this was the one I was going to go for. Yep. Whilst that's going on, I'm just going to have a look around and see if I can spot where that one actually did go. Very strange for it to just disappear like that. Actually, pretty much one a week does that. One a day, one a second. There we go. Don't worry, this will get better. Just like Dr. Brian Cox, things are gonna get better. Gonna get better. Oh, I got 7 likes, thank you. I'll stop singing lest the likes go away. Now come on, I promised them this one's going to show you some colour. And then you just go and do this to them. You're being mean to them, aren't you? You're not the one getting your head scratched off. Fair enough. I bet it's nice. Well, yeah, it is. Well, shine then. Okay. You have to talk to your opals. Alright, let's see how this shine's going to go. Now that I've got most of the rubbish off it, it should start to shine about now. Don't let me down. Okay, we've got a little bit of shine happening. Good. Zoom in, just so you can see. I'm using the physical zoom. You can just see that shine on the corner there. I'm going to try and get more of that. What an inane statement. I'm going to get more of that. No, I'm going to get less. I'm going to cut it so that it doesn't show that at all. I'm not going to beat myself up too much because it is hard to provide commentary and cut a stone. But at the same time, that was inane. Also going to do is I'm just going to give it a quick look over from the back just in case there is a easier method, because it's quite thin. I don't want to just cut through all of it for no reason. Right, now what I'm doing is I'm rolling it in. Ugh. Cutting this one close, literally. Very, very thin piece of opal this. Now you got an imperfection there. Come on. What are you doing to me? I'll cut you in and roll you back. There. That'll teach you. I'm not sure it's going to get better. We'll see. Try and just carve this back from here. It's just taunting me. But there's this blank spot in the middle. Let's see. Is it going to do it? I think it's just on the edge. Let me have a look on the other side. Yeah. I'm going to just try and carve in from this side until we get to the colour. Because we may as well. That's disappointing because it was looking quite good. Let's have a look. Can't see no nothing. No nothing. You can see how far I'm cutting into it now. Let's try and get to something. Here we go, finally. Bit thin, but oh well. Only just a tiny little stain. Oh well. Still a stain. Still nice and pretty. Bit subtle because like the colours fade away pretty quick on that side. Not what you want, but you know. The reason why opals are so expensive is you just literally cannot dial up the stone you want on a whim. Okay? Of course. Okay. That's where it went. Okay. So it's a nice stone, but it's just a teeny bit small and it didn't bring the colours out like I wanted it to, so oh well. This one. I'm still wondering where that other one went. Let me have a look. Just having a look here to see A, why I've got this stone here at all, and B, whether that's the a little bit of colour there. Fair enough. Did it fall in here? Did it fall into my potch pile? Might have. Don't think so. It's not that one, not that one, not that one. That one, that one. Ooh. Show you this one though. Nice. Let's give this one a little bit of a cut. Just looking at what to do with it. Be a bit cautious is basically the aim of the game. So what are we going to do with this little stone? I think that we just have to preserve this part of it no matter what, and this is just it just needs to go basically. There we go. There is a little bit of colour in there, but it probably was not worth preserving. Well, not in that sense anyway. Might be able to make a little pointer out of the other one, but as it was not economical to keep. And getting rid of all the sand, of which there sadly is quite a lot. I wouldn't say sadly actually, because realistically the reason why the opals probably shine is probably because of the silica content, which is of course derived from sand. So you can't have opal without sand. Can't have trees either, or crops. So I think there certainly is a role for sand. Sounds a bit weird, but I am actually a bit sick of a world that's down on sand. And then the next time you order some topsoil, it's just sand. Saying, do you like this or hate it? Yeah, there is a crazy guy out in Lightning Ridge who did do tooth replacements with opals. And I did discuss it with my dentist as well. So my dentist came to the conclusion that I was mad as a hatter. Not sure what that had to do with tooth replacement. But anyway, here we go. Nice little piece of opal. I'm going to zoom out so you can actually see it. It's harder to see in close zoom. There you go. Beautiful little stone. Zooming in again, and I've got another stone ready to go. This one hopefully will give us some colour, but there is a certain amount of risk involved here. At the moment I'm not cutting the front of it, I'm cutting the back, although that changes as circumstances dictate, of course. So this back, at any stage, if good colour shows up, it's instantly the front. I mean, that probably is something that need not be said because so bleeding obvious, but you know, when you're sitting here trying to cut it opal and think about stuff to say, the obvious, not a bad option, really. Now look at that water. It appears to be wet. What a profound statement. Has anyone ever considered the wetness of water? That's a really good question, Raina. Heat treating an opal has a lot of really subtle effects, and not so subtle effects because it will explode if you don't do it right. So, if anybody understands the difference between a solid, liquid, and a gas, a solid and a liquid occupy similar volumes when they are in their solid and liquid phase. Usually, a liquid is slightly bigger than a solid, but in the case of water, because it forms a crystalline structure, water actually is bigger as a solid than it is as a liquid, which is a bit unusual, and that's pretty good because that's the reason why we're alive, because icebergs float. That's basically the short version. I'm not going to go into the rest of it, but if you turn a solid into a gas or a liquid into a gas for any reason, suddenly, as a general rule, the material will now occupy 52 times the space that originally occupied. So if you imagine something a centimetre, it's about half a cubic metre. Now, a centimetre of stuff becomes half a cubic metre. That's a lot of volume. So if you get some liquid or some solid that you accidentally convert into gas in your oven, in an opal, then the temptation will be to force the opal apart. Now the other thing is that I've got to be careful about this because opal is known as hydrated silica, and that has some properties. One of them is that the water in the hydrated part of the silica is really hard to debind from the silica, but it is possible. So what you often see when you heat the opal is that, for example, there are clear opals that suddenly become opaque. So you know that there's been a there's been a massive difference to the actual structure and what they call the conjugation of the bonds. So you're instantly suspicious that the opal itself will have different properties. And you're right, usually it's far more brittle after heat treat. But the other thing is that if you just thermally shock an opal and put a crack into it, that's not necessarily a problem, except you realise that this tool here, it vibrates several hundred times a second, especially when you're cutting the opal. And that's enough to advance any crack that happens to be on the opal. So once you get a crack started, you've got to deal with it rather quickly. And more often than not, a heat-treated opal is at a larger risk of cracking. So the answer is that, as far as cutting the opal is concerned, no, it doesn't make a difference. But you have to be so cautious with the opal after you've heat-treated it, because you don't know what damage you've done to it. Oh, 9 likes, thank you. It's lovely of you people to show your appreciation to the YouTuber who is here slaving away over a hot opal machine. Now, just to give you some justification for those likes, I'm just going to go straight up here and show you, zooming out so you can see it. Hopefully you can see it anyway. You see that little bit of colour that's on the side there? It's faint, but hopefully it'll come good. It'll be much bigger once we get through it. I was showing you that just to say that I'm not just sitting here randomly cutting this opal for no reason. And I've noticed that this side is probably the quickest side to get there. Like they say, the best way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So when you're stabbing, you stab upwards. Okay, there's a little piece of sand there which I suspect is going to eventually sort itself out and become a fleck of colour. So that's kind of what it does here. It starts off with sand grains and then the sand grains turn into colour. And gives you a very small mosaic / pinfire style pattern. Now, to add some more precision to the cut, I'm going to use my second hand. Dum ba da dum 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 ba da 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 da. I'm doing is I'm looking for any signs of life whatsoever. Right, none there. So I will cut here and in. Roll in from here, roll in from here, roll in from here, roll in from here, and then roll over. Roll in from here and roll over, roll in from here. The entire purpose of this exercise is to try and find that elusive colour bar, which is here, and I think I'm seeing part of it just down here, but I'm wondering whether that is still a piece of sand. Believe it or not, it is hard to tell the difference sometimes. How much colour bar are we seeing? None. Alright, how much colour are we seeing? A little bit, okay. How much colour bar are we seeing? None. I think that we can successfully cut it all the way through here. At the very least, we'll know what's going on. Ooh, smash-a-rooney. Whee! Just checking this side first. Don't see much. Let's have a look on this side. Finally, we got up to the colour. Right. Something landed on me. Okay. Let's have a look at you. What, you're there? Are we cutting through there? Oh well. Let's have a look. This could be one of those situations where it's not facing this side at all. I think that is the situation. Well, Oak Springs Eternal, and that piece of sand that I was talking about definitely has morphed from sand into colour, as it sometimes is wont to do. I've seen that so many times I don't get surprised by it anymore. Oh, it says 9 here. That's alright. There's 113 people just watching me, hopefully, turn a bland looking rock into some colour. I think it's going to just keep doing this. I'm going to give it one more shot. I'm not a quitter by nature. What I'll also do is I'll try from the other side. Sometimes it only shows up on one side, but I have a suspicion that that the colour will only show up on the side, not even the other side, like literally the side. So it might be just we might just be urinating up the initial stages of an edifice. Yeah. Oh well. I'm going to stop with that one because, you know, I've got better things to do than get upset with opals. Okay, so where were those other ones that I was going to use? This one's a witch's hat knobby, so I'll quickly look through it. Knobbies don't look like anything a lot of the time. And when you open them up, you're given access to huge amounts of colour. So they're a lot of fun. They're like a lotto ticket that isn't like a billion, zillion, gillion to one. Oh yeah, that's why I put it in a fish tank in the first place. I've got a piece of glass between me and the opal as a general rule. Sometimes I appear in front of the opal, almost invariably. I get a piece of grit in my eye when I do that. Sometimes I'm looking through the glass really intently and I'm going, nah, I don't necessarily think people want to hear my heavy breathing, so maybe they do. Okay, looks like this witch's hat knobby ain't doing much. Just going to cut it straight in half just to see if there's anything we're missing, and then going to move on. No, nothing's it. All right. I want to look through that one, but I'll just get a colourful one out of the road before we go and experiment some more, because like you wouldn't mind wanting to see actual things that are actually colourful. I do believe. I think this guy's good. So I'm just getting some more surefire things than usual, just to make sure that we've got some fun happening here. What's that? I'm not going to risk it. So look at you. What are you? Nope. What are you? You obviously were something in the daytime. Why are you not something now? All right. Ew. Let's have a look at this one. And this one. So I've already started to cut through this one, and I stopped when I realised something good was happening. So let's cut through some more and see if we can get some more good to happen. Still, I don't even know which side is the good side yet. But I'll show you in a second once I've got some more cool happening. I think I'm going to work on this side. because I think that's where the money is, so to speak. Now the interesting part about this is that all of the opal is shining quite well, but there's one piece of the opal, about a third of it really, that's shining more than the rest of it. So I'm going to cut in favour of that bit, just to make it a little bit more enticing, a bit more exciting. Making sure that we're not making a big mistake here. Carving into it. Like I said, it's about a third of the opal that's actually the exciting bit. So there's also, I can see an inclusion here. So I'm perfectly okay with getting rid of that. That crack is gone. Excellent. So I think I'll keep the rest of it as a triangle, because I think it'll look quite exhilarating if you've got just a nice corner in that triangle, which looks kind of nice. So here we go. Let's hope that we can make this look good. I'm just carving away the thin side because this is another of these opals that faces best from the side. So if you've got some of that side on display, at the point where that opal starts to really shine, then you start to make a nice stone out of it. And this is what we call a crystal opal. This is a lightning ridge one. I just know it is, and you can see that it's starting to really pop just because of the way lightning ridge stones do it. When they pop big time. See that? Yeah. Is that the breathing or the grinding? Bit of one, bit of the other. I'll be doing it in German as well. Pretty much can only count though. So I'll just be sitting there going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. Not a bad little stone that. Gonna get that. That'll make a nice stone, that one, including that little piece of fogginess. Now, as I was doing that, I picked up another one that looks pretty good, so I'm going to give that one a bit of a quick zhuzhing. It's very thin, so it might take a bit of effort to get something good out of it, but from what I can see, quite a nice little stone. Somewhat spoiled by the fact that there is sand right here. I'm going to see what happens. Can I do something with that sand? I think I can. I don't think it's actually that far reaching within the stone, so I just kind of put the stone on its side and carve in a bit and we're done. But if I play my cards right with this tiny little stone, we're going to get a tiny little piece of goodness. Just seeing how far this goes. I may have to cut it in half even. No, that's alright. Come on, we can do this. We can do this. In case you're interested, the purpose of this channel is kind of an unscripted opal cut. I'm not saying that everybody else is into fakery, but the whole idea is I just look at some opals and I go, let's cut this and see what happens. I broke that bit. I deliberately broke it, by the way. I didn't just accidentally break it. So here we go. It's asking itself to go into a very small cab, I think we'll find. Not like a small taxi, a cabochon. Wonder if there's someone from France on the stream going, "Oh, you murder my language." I've murdered every other language. Learn to counter German. Was ist das? 2 Bitter. Sehr gut. Technically that is nice. I'm just trying to move the light around so you can believe me. There you go, nice and colourful. Finally saw the colour. Very meaning of life. Show the baby. Goodbye. Not going to do that bit. I thought I saw some nice colour in this one, so let's give this one a shot. And in we go. Oh, and out we go. Oh, 12 likes. Well, you did very well there, Raina. I think this piece is kind of off to the side. What? There goes a bit of eye core. Million-year-old snail guts, I suppose. Okay. I don't know, Raina, you might not have experienced this, but did you know that you should never ask a Dutch person whether they're German or not? That can end rather badly for you. The only trouble with this stone is that there's that imperfection is not so much an imperfection, less an imperfection, more a crack. So I'm just going to go cutting through the back of it and seeing if I can actually do something about it. Seeing if that crack actually goes through. If it goes through, I've got no option but to cut it in half. It looks like I'm going to get away with blue bloody murder here. Or not. What have we got here still? There. What are the consequences of speaking too soon? I think we just learned. So let's see what is left. Certainly there was a lot of colour in the stone originally, but I had to cut a lot of colour off. It was necessary because there was cracks and stuff everywhere. Couldn't just leave those colours there. I couldn't leave the cracks there. But it's also true that I couldn't leave the colours there. Colours were sitting there with the cracks. Sometimes you get a second wind of colour just around the area where the cracks discoloured it, so we'll see. I'm actually just getting that blander patch and hopefully being able to shape it so that it will accept the colour from the more colourful section. I tried to experiment out with literal bits of opal and crystal opal underneath, and yeah, certain bits of opal tend to amplify the coloured bits, so you need all of it. So that way. How's that? That's looking good. Small but good. Tiny but mighty, as they say. Or possibly only as I say, but you know. Once you've hit the wheel, it's time to slap the canary. Or is that something that I say as well? Fair enough. Okay. Under the sea, life is better under the sea. I know that there's a stupid crab in The Little Mermaid who says that, or more accurately sings it. So, there you go. Quotable quotes. Uh-oh. Im Dichten, Fichten, Dichten, Nichten, Dichte, Fichten, Tichtig. There you go. This one is almost English. Hang on. The whiskey mixer mixed den Whisky mit dem Whisky Mixer mit dem Whisky Mixer mixed the Whisky Mixer den Whisky. Do I get my citizenship? I could save you a lot of trouble and just go, Ich bin ein Dummkopf, or Dummkopfen, I don't know. You need to have some kind of participle arrangement on that word. Well, the whiskey mixer mixes the whiskey with the whiskey mixer. With the whiskey mixer, mixing the whiskey mixer, then whiskey. That's what I'm reading. It's saying, no, it's an instruction manual to construct a nuclear bomb. I don't know what you're talking about whiskey for. How about the mixer making ein das Dummkopf? Good luck understanding that. If the police use that to find out if people are drunk on your roads, then I'm doomed. I'm never going to be able to drive on one of your roads. They'll drag me into the station, not necessarily for the blood alcohol test, just because it's amusing. Yeah, we have the Englander, he's an idiot. That's an Australian idiot to you, Dr. Australian idiot. Wissenschaft idiot. Yeah, I thought so. Well, it seemed that way. I can remember... we did that in Australia too. But seriously, if you're a foreigner, how do you know what your local laws are? They gotta just have their fun. So there is that classic quote by JFK, which by urban legend made it to my schoolyard, saying that JFK, he was trying to say I am a Berliner, but ended up somehow saying that he was a meat product. Somehow saying ich bin ein Berliner makes you a meat product. I don't know how that works. I mean, obviously, hang on a second, I'm just looking at this. It's just a little bit too imperfect. I'm cutting it through the middle. Nice little stone, just a little bit imperfect, that's all. And these two stones were easier to shape than the one stone which has got something right in the middle of it. Look. These are fracturing very easily, so I'm going to shape them on the top stick. Here we go. Zooming out. Just like on the Bribey Bridge. There you go, you can see some of the sparkle on it. I do apologise for the amount of colour you're not seeing. Actually, I'm turning the colour right up. See if you can see colour now. Nine. Okay. I'll just quickly smooth these edges off and then we'll go find another one. But at least I'm placated. That was quite a colourful opal. Quite nice. Does it come any better? I don't think so. No, nothing. Nada. Zip. Nicht. So that implies it is true. Nah. Right, let's see what... Is it this one? No, we're not doing that one. I just suspect that this one's better than it looks. Just seeing if I can spot another of Bailey's. Let's just look at the side of this one. I'm just deeply suspicious of this one. I'm not going to cut all the way through if I don't see nothing. There we go. All right. This is not one of the Caleb Bailey's opals, but it is a nice one. So let's just give it a bit of a yoiki. Yeah, I think at the time it was during that Great Berlin airlift and everyone was hungry. And so there's two aspects to that. The first one is, if he comes up and says, I am very edible, he may not survive. The second one was that he was trying to be nice and he's trying to say, I'm suffering with you at the time. And they were very hungry and they were very grateful for the airlift, so probably no one would have said much. Yeah, I think that if I said... No, what? Ah, right, okay. And Wiener is actually directly referring to Vienna. Because, well... I'm sure you're aware of the way that the English speakers treat the W. We don't make it as hard as the Germans tend to. I'm just going to try and snap this because very snappable. I'm going to have to because I think there's just too much going on with this one. Even if it's small, you're better off cutting it because the decision to not cut usually results in issues. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So I'm zooming in so that you can see some of what's going on. See that? That's just not acceptable. We can't have that. So I'll just carve that off. But that's not even on the part we're using. See if we can find the part we're using. So this is the colourful bit. Got to be a bit cautious about it. Let's see what happens. Right, that was in reference to Vienna and Wiener. Right. This thing just fell apart. Is this the coloured part? Nope. I think I've just made a pig's breakfast of it. Fine Essen. There we go, mine Kleiner Opal. It's got colour in it. I'm not even going to bother. It just fell apart, so not happy at all. Okay, let's have a look. By the way, I am happy. It's entertaining for me. As long as it's entertaining for you too, no trouble. Let's give this one a quick zhoosh and see what happens. Oh, is that how? Oh, okay. Not at all confusing. So wherever you're not from is what you call it. I'll just go ein Mozart sausage, bitte, and watch everyone get confused. Yeah, well, the surprising thing was that I still went away from Austria not knowing how to speak much German, but at the same time, it wasn't intimidating to listen to because, like, so much of the language is, like, so much of the English language has remained Germanic, even though we've got all those French words in there. I mean, there are some notable differences, like house and house. I do believe the house word in Germany means hate, doesn't it? And here it means, well, a house, a residence. Well, I've been up in the Bavarian mountains now. Seen all that stuff. I mean, not all of it. Sound of music stuff in it. And, of course, in Vienna, it's very touristy. People in powdered wigs and stuff. Get this one. Just because it's a bit more convenient. There's a giant chip in it, so I'll just carve it through. Hopefully that clear section, wow, very brittle. Hopefully that clear section is going to be more colourful, but it might not be. So please forgive me if it isn't. Well, like I said before, I had a great time in Austria. They didn't think much of my German, and I think that's justified, really. Well, sometimes if you're in the big city, they don't like, giving tourists help a lot, so that can be a bit annoying. But it's not everyone's job to, help the silly tourists around. They sling a gypsy €10 and, like, all of a sudden you get a lot of stuff done for you. I know, playing with fire. I would say that that pretty much every Austrian that I spoke to, probably self-selecting, they were pretty good. The English was extraordinary. Annoyingly good, even. Alright, I'm giving up on that one. No good. Grab this guy, just cut the end through and see what we get. Just so you know, these ones are just, it's not exactly some colour, I'm just, no, I won't bother putting it up. But basically I'm testing through the opal just to see what we get. So if we get some colour, all well and good, but this is just really a trial one. Yeah. In all seriousness, if you speak your German just really slowly, and then if I look confused at a particular word, we try and work out what that word is, it'll, you know, communication happens. And I learned enough German so that when I went to Hungary, I could communicate to the Hungarians in German better than I could in Hungarian. Which probably is not as surprising as anyone would think. So this opal, what's it going to do? I'm hoping it's going to do something cool, obviously. That's why I picked it. But there's a chance it won't. There's just something about it that I like it. I like this opal. There's no colour in it whatsoever. There's nothing really to tell me that there's something good in there. I saw a flash of colour, but sadly, I think that's a crack. Yeah, there's a crack in there. So I'll show you an example of that later, but sometimes when an opal is cracked, it gives a nice flash of red. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I learned French. Well, like I learned German, really. Like I think I told you that in class they called me Fumstein. That wasn't how many feet tall I was. Every test. Fumstein out of 100. That's probably why I knew how to count. Actually, nah. When you're a kid, you don't know how useful other languages are. And it's just like, especially when you live in Australia and like, there's no incentive. You're not in amongst European neighbours. You don't have a neighbour that speaks a completely different dialect. So there's absolutely no incentive whatsoever to learn a language, and it's all a little bit garbledy. Temptation is to go around the entire world going, speak English, speak English, speak English. Okay, what are you going to show me? That's the way. Now don't get excited everybody, but there is some colour here. I wonder if there are any seahorse fossils in Campedi or Lightning Ridge. Probably just pipefish because that's what they came from. Come on, you can do this. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're speaking German, it's just they're listening to the German and kind of getting what people are saying. It'd take me a few days now to reacclimatise, because it was like, I think it was 2014 or earlier. Help various people when they've come over to Australia, and I've learned that language isn't that much of a barrier anyway, because a lot of what we communicate is non-verbal. So yeah, you can go a long way or not very much. Yeah, but they're all versions of the. So the only issue you get is when I'm trying to repeat it back. Das mein Krappen Sie Krappen. And then there's laziness. The only thing I can think of is because like I've been talking about that Ukraine war recently, and always talking about the wonder weapons that they're trying to make. And I have no idea whether I'm calling them wonder weapons or wonder wives. I'm just going Wunderwaffen. Nah, it's good enough. Incidentally, yeah, English did have those. We got rid of a lot of them. Like for the word you is actually a plural. So the singular of you is thou. Like back in the 16th, 17th century King James Bible times. I think it's amusing because, like, basically we dropped the thou because you could apply to a group or an individual within the group. And it's like, well, why are we messing around with all this other stuff? So we dropped it, but obviously there is a time when you group is really quite important. And the Bogan solved it for us by adopting a pluralization of you, which is use. So around here you'll hear some very uneducated person solving the English language for us, going, well, yous guys over there, you come over here, mate. I'll give yous a good talking to. Hopefully that was understandable, because I started to adapt a bit of a Bogan accent for that. Well, it's coloured, but it's not really coloured. Look at that. There was something there. It's interesting, but you can only just see that line there, indicating there was a kernel and possibly a shift in its position when it was being made. I might shine it up just because it's interesting, but not because it's pretty. I'm just flipping it all over so that I can get to the ones down the bottom. That will probably help. Let me see. I'm now looking for the Magnum Opal, so that one might do it. I've got 1 or 2 opals left in me to do, and I seriously don't want to just keep punching holes in nothing. I'd like to finish up on a winner.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm giving him a big kiss.
Okay. Good night, Dal.
Good night. I fell asleep and had some odd dreams and then woke up by choking myself, so.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Love you, bub. Good night. This looks interesting. This similarly looks interesting. This looks interesting. All of these have got very, very good. Well, have a look at this one. See that colour that's just sitting in there? Lovely. So, I think we're going to have fun with those ones. I'm not sure we need a bigger one. I'll see if I can find a big one. It's not exactly a big one, but it's bigger. What about this one? 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Grabbing another handful. Yep, this is a different handful. I'm going to sort them all out tomorrow. I've got to work tomorrow, so I've got to kind of sort out my working day. Oh, that one's a nice one. We'll have a look at that one. We'll also have a look at that one. A lot of these are Lightning Ridge. Maybe not that one. See what we can find. Might start with that one because that's a bit of a risk. So I'll zoom out a bit so you can at least see what I'm doing. Let's see. No, it's got a big crack in it. Interesting, but small. Not just small, but too small to make something out of. No. And if it's not just small, it's awkwardly shaped, and you know it's going to make a small stone, so you don't bother. That one's got a bit of red in it, so it is worth worrying about, for example, even though it is small. No. That one will crack. What about this one? No. I think we've got enough, but I'll just have a quick look. Huh. Should probably put that in with the other ones already done. Let's have a look. Have a look. There we go. Yeah. I'd love to know. Oh, there's just a little bit on the end there. Try it. What about this one? 9. I'll do that one because it's nice. Matter of fact, we'll do it first because there's a chance that one's just going to fall apart. So we've got ourselves a few nice little shiny things. Oh, really? I keep forgetting German has got genders. I just think it's a form of English, really, and so off we go. But obviously not. Where did I put that one that I said we're going to start with? Not there, not there, not there. Dust opal. Not that one. I think it's that one there, isn't it? Yep, it's that one. Let's have a look at it. Would you believe I just dropped it? Never look down here. Where we go? Not that one. It's not that one either. Right. And see, I heard it go tink against the thing. Where is it? If not, I'm just going to get another one off the shelf. That's why I get plenty, just in case something silly happens. I quite like that one. It's a bit annoying. Yeah, well. That's the limit. I find it in the morning, probably hiding amongst all the other stones it drops. Okay, let's get this one. Let's see what this one's doing. Stabilizing the rocks reduces their value, so I'd like to. Sometimes you have no choice. So there are some pipe opals in which, like, it's not going to be anything unless you glue it together or bond it with epoxy or something. So, yeah. Nice idea, just can't do it. I suppose it's like telling the French, well, you could water your grapes. Yes, but we will kill you. Fair enough. In honour of Rainer's suggestion, we'll try doing something with this one because it's a really nice one, but it's all sandy. Let me show you. Or not. That sandy bit's got colour all through it as well. So, let's stabilise. Okay, let's have a look at this one. I'm going to zoom in because I think it's bright enough that you'll see it as it comes out. This is a good one. Ooh, 15 likes. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, no amount of zooming is going to stop this one. Lovely. Lovely, lovely little opal. Brilliant. Look at that. Actually, I'm looking at real time, just checking to see if you're seeing what I'm seeing. You're seeing a little bit of it, but not in its absolute brilliant form that I'm spotting it in. It's just beautiful, this thing. Also, Raina, in reality, I don't actually have an issue with the opals I've got. I have an issue in judgment. I'm seeming to pick stones that don't show up at night very well. I could do better, but sometimes I'm just in such a hurry. Like, for example, I've been picking up and dropping off one of my kids and cleaning up some things and getting some other things done, you know. I've also been experimenting with silver. So, I've barely had any time at home today, and that's probably contributed more than anything to the quality of the opal, so I didn't have time to just look through them and go, this one works, this one works, this one works, this one works. And often I don't like doing that. I like the randomness of the opal to really show itself through. Yeah, fair enough. Around here, there are fights about water. Not here in Sydney. We've got enough. We're all city folk, though. You have a real divide between rural and city folk in Australia. I don't know if that's common elsewhere. Probably is. Sounds like a fairly common gripe. And the water's okay in the summertime, but I'm going to have to think about my approach to water for when winter hits, because we're Australians. We're not built to be cold. Sorry. Hopefully everything's still going. I just reconnected. Well, that is definitely magnum opus material. Only issue I have is there's a slight risk that there's a crack in this thing. But hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. Let's zoom out so you can get the full idea of what we're dealing with. Look at that. That's a cracker. If I'm able to get that into opal form and shined up, that's, 500 to 1,000 right there. That's a cracker. Seeing we've got that one, I'm motivated to just try one more, because they've got a few little cool ones that are sitting around. I'll just have a quick look and see which one I want to do. Let's do this one. This is a fun one. It might not work, but it's fun. And then we'll finish up. Here we go. Just so you know, the Vogels are already asleep. The birds are already asleep, so I'm not going to be... I said goodnight as the stream started, so you can scroll to the beginning of the stream to see the birds. Very thin, but awesome. I'm going to literally cut it here because it is awesome. That sounds weird, doesn't it? I'm cutting it because it's awesome. The reason why I'm cutting it is because I want to keep pieces of it rather than just to slice it all apart. And once again, I'm going to have to cut it through this part here because it's awesome. So that part I'm probably going to use at some point, but this is the bit that I'm really interested in, and we'll see if we can get that up and running as a nice stone. And if not, we'll go get another stone, because I want to finish on a winner, even though I've got my magnum opal. Come on, you can do this. I kind of just want this opal that'll shine enough even in the high zoom for you. So, a bit too small. I will get another one, but hopefully this one will look good once I've finished with it. Yeah, well, I might at least dop it. That's a nice little stone. Let's have a look quickly here. All right, this guy. Have I got any spare? Yeah, I've got a spare drop stick, so yeah, I can put it on the dot. And that means I'm standing up, my back won't be hurting as much. But I will have to start oh, the only trouble is that I replaced my wheel. Dagnammit. I'll do a little bit of polishing, but I don't have much water on the system now. I've got to reconnect the water up. I knew there was some reason why I was holding off the polishing phase. We'll do a bit of it, because people seem to like that. That ended up not as good as I was hoping. One last try with this one and then we'll go. We've got our Magnum Opal, so we can do what we like. Right, off you get. Off with his head. The only thing is, I think you're right about the stone before. It's a real cracker, that one. So, I'll have a look at it. I can at least put it on the drop stick. Now this is a nice stone too, but it's going to have its issues because it's a bit concave. We've got to think about how to do that. So what I'll do is I'll just polish up the face of it. It's actually solving its problem for me because I think, let's have a look. Right. And there. There we go. Nice little green triangle to finish things off with. There it is. Turn off the water. It's going to empty anyway. Turn off the... There we go. Alright, zooming out. There we go. Quick bonus, I'm going to get that other opal and I am going to dop it for you. Let's have a look at the back of it. Make sure the back is okay. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, so you're not going to see much of it, but you'll see kind of what I've got to do here. I've got a dop stick here. The opal is just here, and I just happen to have a little, it's basically a, I found it on the side of the road. It's a rice heater, I think. So basically you dop your opal like that. You've got to make sure your opal's dry, and that's the only trouble with doing it this way, because you might not be able to get it quite right doing it this way, but we'll see. That basically means I'm okay with it coming off because I want it to be dry. And the hotter you get it, the better. And I think it's like that. So let's try this again. By the way, now that I've turned the opal machine off, it's going to naturally just cool down now. This is off as well. It's connected to the opal machines. Here we go. Yoink. On.
Off again, which is good. Making sure I've got the right side. Yep, I do. Drying it on my shirt. Best ever. Right. I'll put it here so you can at least see it. And we'll take off some of that wax. Pop that back in there. And here we go. Just spin it around a bit. Spin it around some more. That's the way. That's quite gooey in there. It's all good. Trouble I've had recently with dopping them on here is that they do come off because you got to pay a lot of attention to the dot. It's probably one of the more important things. So even though it looks frustrating, I'm actually perfectly fine with it falling off until you have exactly everything right. Yeah. This time around, I'm hoping that what will happen is that just a little drop will fall onto the opal itself and it'll just stick onto the opal. I think we're ready to go. There we go. So basically all of those times when the opal was coming off, it's come off again, that's all right. All the times when the opal was coming off, it was just heating the opal itself so that any extra water just went off it. Because it's really important it has no water. It won't stick unless it's got extremely dry. Yeah, that's good. Hopefully now it'll stick on properly and I'll be able to shape it whilst we're sticking. No, it's come off again. Not sure if you're going to be all that impressed with this version. It's all right. Let's go. On we get. Yeah, come on, you can do this. Yeah, I think we're good. Sorry, I'm just bringing it up to me now. There we go. Hopefully it'll stay. The amusing bit will be when it just goes off the moment I put it onto the wheel. But that's, you know, I'm not going to change it. Yeah. But this is a quick idea of what goes on. Zoom in a bit more. Ooh, obey the crab is what I say. There we go. Don't be disappointed if it pops off. Like I said, it's going to pop off. I'll dry the stone and do it properly tomorrow morning, and so you might get to see this one getting done more professionally. What I will do is I just see something that can be done by hand at the moment because it's pretty obvious. Basically, I'm looking for the bits that are sticking out. Those are easy to do, and because we're starting to move into something that's a little bit higher grit than our Dremel tool, you're starting to get to things that you can control with a lot more precision. And if you manage to keep it dots like I haven't been, then you've got more precision once again. And with each more subtle grip, the chances of the opal coming off the opal, i.e. cracking and smashing off, like has been happening all night, that reduces substantially as well. All good outcomes.
Yeah. I think it goes too fast for that. We could try. Hang on. Have I got my Sharpie here somewhere? Yeah, I do. So let's see what happens with the spiral on there. May as well. I know there's a weird way in which I'm having to do that. There we go. Wonder what that'll do. Let's try. Hee Okay. I apologise, Rainy. You're full of good ideas. Okay. Well, I'm turning this off now. We're going to go to bed. You can say good night to the dog who's just come out to do her sinful business. Good night, Daphne. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe on your way out if you did. Other than that, have a lovely evening. Hope you enjoyed the opals. Dr. Phil out.